Hi friends, I'm Audrey Christie, holistic wellness practitioner, and today we're talking about the how, not the what, but the how to find relief and remission, get free and clear from psoriasis. I'm Audrey Christie, holistic wellness practitioner, and I've helped hundreds of people get free and clear from psoriasis, as well as find relief and remission from other autoimmune diseases. So if you like wellness content with real sustainable solutions that you can implement in your life, be sure you click subscribe and the notification bell so you'll know each week when I post new content. So today we're talking about psoriasis. Last week I talked to you about the what. What triggers psoriasis? What is psoriasis? And psoriasis is one of those autoimmune diseases that is often really, really evident because we wear it on our skin. Even if you're not in an active flare-up externally, oftentimes you're having the symptoms of fatigue and pain that can happen internally as well. Psoriasis is not something that I just treat in my practice, but also something that I experience in my household. My 11-year-old daughter has psoriasis, and as you can imagine, that can be a really tough thing for anyone, but particularly for a preteen girl in the age of Instagrammable everything, right? So it's something that I'm really, really passionate about. It's something that I'm well versed in, and something that is really something that I feel called to help you. Psoriasis, again, it's one of those autoimmune diseases that's often visible on the outside. And even when it's not visible on the outside, you often have the fatigue and the pain that's happening on the inside. Last week, and I'll put a link in the description, we talked about the what. What is psoriasis? What causes it? What are the triggers? And from that, although there are different root causes for every person, even if you have 2 or 3 or 4 people in the same family with psoriasis, there is a similar component to all of it, but there's also a very unique root cause because they've had different exposures and feelings and experiences throughout their life. Now, commonly, overarchingly, psoriasis heals from the inside out. There are some topical things that you can do to find some relief from the external, scaly, rough, painful, red, irritated patches of skin. But in order for that to be lasting, you have to do the work on the inside as well. Now, conventional treatments, steroids, methotrexate, all of those things, those are just treating the symptom. They're treating psoriasis like a symptom. And really, psoriasis is a symptom. It's a downstream symptom of something upstream going on in your body. So all of those conventional medicine treatments, while sometimes necessary for short periods of time, often they are just treating the symptoms, and often they do more harm than good in the long run. So I encourage you to experiment and try different things. The first thing to consider, if you think about the triggers for psoriasis, are combating those triggers. Again, those look a little bit different for everyone. Overall, we want to heal what tends to be a damaged gut. Now, sometimes those damaged gut comes from antibiotic use. Sometimes it comes from a bacterial infection or a viral infection that goes untreated or unmitigated. Sometimes it's from food sensitivities. Sometimes it's from an exposure to some toxin environmentally, or either in the outside environment or inside the home environment, for example. All of these things have to be taken into consideration, but the overarching theme is to repair and heal that gut. And an easy way to get started down that path is twofold. One, probiotics. Everyone should be taking them, and drinking kombucha or eating yogurt doesn't fix the problem. You need to take actual probiotics. Generally, that needs to be about 25 billion CFU a day. Any more than that, you probably need to work with a health practitioner to discuss. You can, of course, find them over the counter higher than that, but you don't need to. The second part of that is stopping the damage. So if you're taking NSAIDs, if you're taking steroids, all of those things are damaging your gut. NSAIDs are things like Advil, or even pain relief like Tylenol, or any kind of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory medication, or even steroidal anti-inflammatory medication. All of those things are working against your body's own defense systems to help defeat this autoimmune condition. So the second thing you need to consider is what you're putting in your body. Oftentimes, not always, but oftentimes the main triggers that I see for psoriasis or eczema that eventually progresses to psoriasis is dairy, eggs, and gluten. So those are 3 things that you should consider removing from the diet in order to heal this. Now, there's a very simple way to test this. You get rid of gluten for 3 days and see if it gets better. You get rid of dairy for 3 days and see if it gets better. You get rid of eggs for 3 days and see if it gets better. Especially in my pediatric clients, getting rid of one or all three of those things usually heals it up in about 3 days. And I've seen psoriasis behind the ears go from red and cracked and bleeding and oozing to completely gone in 72 hours, simply by removing those constant inflammatory issues. Another thing to consider is their detoxification pathways. Now, depending on your age and your exposure, it could be any number of things, but your body gets rid of toxins in 3 different ways: urinary elimination, sweat, and bowel elimination. So if those one or all of those 3 things aren't working properly, then that can cause a buildup of toxins in your system. And so there are some things that you can do depending on your age. Make sure you're having BMs at least one every day, generally one after every time you eat. Make sure you're eating plenty of good fiber, so lots of whole plant foods. And then make sure you're moving your body and getting that sweat going. Now, a big component of this that's often looked at, it's unmitigated in conventional medicine, is the emotional and stress patterns that go along with psoriasis. A lot of times it's treated after the outward appearance of psoriasis happens, but we know that emotions in the body cause stress reactions in the body itself, and that eventually makes its way externally, right? So that energy moves in, processed by the body holds on to it, and then the body shows external or outward signs of stress, like psoriasis. Now, the triggers for this is a little bit different for everyone. I see a lot of stress, and then I see a lot of fear and a lot of anger being generally the top 3 things that you want to consider for that long-term remission, for being free and clear for long-term in a sustainable way. So those are the big categories you want to look at. Now, I know what the information that everybody wants is like, what can I put on my skin to make it go away? So I really encourage you to avoid the topical antibiotics and the topical steroids unless you have a big infection, okay? If it's anything other than that, try these things first. There's a couple different things you can do. One is a product, and this company sent me this product and we've tried it in our house. It's called Psoriasis Honey. It's a mixture of jojoba, grapeseed oil, lavender essential oil, tea tree oil, and chamomile, and it really works really fast and really well. If I put on my clinical aromatherapist hat, I would like to see one additional ingredient in there, and that's bergamot. If you have bergamot in your essential oil collection, that is something to mix with grapeseed oil. You don't have to mix it with psoriasis honey, that's pretty expensive, but mix it with grapeseed oil and apply that topically to any psoriasis areas. You can also drip that on the scalp, put a shower cap on, leave it on overnight, and then wash it out in the morning. And the grapeseed oil won't be as heavy in your hair. If you're like me and you have fine hair, it won't be as heavy in your hair as, say, coconut oil or olive oil or some of the other heavier, larger molecule oils. The other thing you can do is take aragonite and blue beryl, which is an aquamarine. It's 2 crystals. Put them in water, allow that to sit, and then use that water topically on the psoriasis itself. So to sum all of this up, the things we're doing, we are healing that leaky gut with probiotics. We're eating lots of whole plant foods. We're making sure our detoxification pathways are working really, really well. And we're working on the emotional and mental aspects of stress mitigation and working through any fear or anger that we've experienced or recurringly experience in our life. Topically, we're switching to some natural products that don't have the side effects, the systemic side effects that steroids and antibiotic creams do. If you're not a DIYer, something like psoriasis honey is a really, really good option. If you don't mind putting a few drops of oil into a pump bottle, then definitely check out bergamot essential oil, maybe with some lavender and some grapeseed oil for topical applications. Again, I'm Audrey Christie, holistic wellness practitioner. I love to answer your questions. Be sure and check out the links below. I've got some free downloads and goodies for you there. If you have any questions, post them below and I'll pop back in and answer them. And as always, I offer free mini case reviews. So if you have more in-depth questions than you want to share on this platform, then be sure and sign up for one of those.